Hello. Hey, hi. So I started recording anyway. So in next few days, I'm going to complete the PySpark session, like whatever the notebooks which I shared with you guys. I'm just going to explain. I'll just going to take you through all the notebooks and syntax and like how it is going to execute and all. Okay. So very firstly, so in PySpark, we are not going to cover any machine learning algorithms because so we guys are still using only Python for machine learning algorithms or any model trainings and all. We are not using PySpark. So PySpark is nowadays only, yes, only for processing data. Why? Because if anyone have an ambition like of being a data engineer, or if you were interested on creating a big data pipeline, so this PySpark coding is must on those situations. And machine learning algorithms on PySpark side, it is still in evaluation stage, and still it's growing. Okay, so nobody's using PySpark algorithms. Okay, and those are all not still not validated. So like how Python it is working. So we don't see any good performance on that way. So that's why. So in the machine learning models, like in algorithms, so we guys are still using Python. But if you want to process big data, you can still go with a PySpark. Is that clear? Okay, cool. So another point is that there is no much difference between Python and PySpark. The reason because um, hmm, so it's only the Python coding only, but you are coding on top of Spark environment. Okay. So far you are just downloaded Python and working just coding on the Python and install some third-party libraries and using it. But here you are going to working on a Spark data frames. Let's say here in Python, you guys are going to use pandas, right, to read the data frame. But here in PySpark, you guys are going to use a Spark data frame. You are not going to use pandas anymore in PySpark. That is the only difference. Let's say if the data frame type is changed. So if your data frame is pandas, you are going to use the respective methods, respective transformations, and respective utilization of multiple methods or multiple functions. But if it is in a PySpark data frame, Spark data frame, then Spark data frame also have some set of rules and some set of working methods and working functions it had. Okay, so only difference is this. So instead of using pandas, you guys are going to use Spark data frame. Rest all string operations, integer operation, data type checking, or Python built-in function utilization. Rest all will be the same. There is no difference on that. Only difference is data processing part, because this PySpark is only came for the data processing. Okay, rest all Python you can use as it is. Is this point clear? Okay. Then another point is that, yep. So how many of you are installed PySpark in your local? Okay, you're using Databricks, nice. Okay, who are using Databricks? Okay, so the reason because installing Spark in my local system, it's not possible. The reason my system is not allowed to install some dependencies because of some restrictions of some organizations. Okay, so that's why I'm also going to use Databricks. If you guys don't if you guys also facing issue in installing Spark in your local, you guys can use Databricks. And if you guys had any doubt on like how we can create an account, free account, let's say how to work with the Databricks, so please let me know. I will take you through that. I will help on that. Okay, cool. Then let's get started. I'm just going to share my screen. So please let me know once it is visible. Hello. Sorry, I lost the connection in between maybe. So I'll again. Can I know who have the host access here?
Sharda has.
If you guys have the host access, can you please uh, share the host access with me?
Sharda is the host.
Because I can't share my screen. Hello, am I audible?
You are audible, sir.
I can't hear you guys.
You are audible, sir.
Yeah, Vikrant, you're audible. Can you hear us?
You are the host, sir.
Yes. So I'm back. So can you guys can you hear my voice? And Ayuda, you have the host access. Can you please transfer it to me?
Vikrant, how do I do that?
Hello.
Yeah, Vikrant, how do I do that? I forgot. How do I transfer that host to you, Vikrant?
Hello.
Yeah, Vikrant, how do I transfer you? How do I make you the host?
So click on my name. So you can see the three dots.
Yeah,
There may
that's
be,
make host. Yeah, okay,
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Done.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. So now I'll be able to share my screen. Okay. Please let me know once my screen is visible for you all. Hmm, okay, cool. So I'm going to use Databricks only. So if you guys face any issues on creating account and working with the Databricks, please let me know. Okay. So once you open the Databricks, this is the home page you guys can see here. So here you need to play with these notebooks. So this is as same as Jupyter notebook. Instead of using kernels there, you are going to use here clusters. Okay, how we can create a clusters, I'll show that. Before that, so here you can see the recent notebook which you are used, those notebooks also you can see it here, or else you can just go your workspace. So we have workspace tab here. So there you can see whatever the notebooks which you are created in your account. Okay, so here you can see I just created this one, like read, write, and validating the data. How we can do this? I'll just open that notebook. So it's opening. Just yeah. So now it is opened. Okay. So this is the notebook which I created. So I already shared the zip file. There you can find these notebooks. Okay. So very firstly you need to do. So very firstly you need to create the cluster. How we can create it? So this is the space which you can see which it is alive or terminated, and what is the status of your kernel. Okay, if this sorry, it's a cluster. So if this cluster is active, then only you will be able to execute the code. If not, you are not be able to execute the codes. Okay, so let's go for, you can just go click on the create new resource and give any name. Let's say class 1, you can say. So give any name and don't change this configuration if you are using free version, because this is the only configuration which you may get as free. Okay, then create a cluster. It will take 2 to 3 minutes to create a cluster. Okay, so meanwhile I'll going to explain few things. So again, I'm welcoming you all for PySpark World. In this first lecture, we will be covering reading data, okay, partitioned files, validating the data, specifying data types, and writing data frame into local. How we can do this? This is the basic things which you guys need to understand, like how we can read the data from different file formats. Okay, so partition and file concept will came here only. The reason because the Spark data frames are distributed. Okay, so let's say I'm going to give one example. We have 5 peoples. Okay, 5 peoples as a developer and one guy as a lead developer. So there were somebody, the okay, what you can say. So your manager says something, some jobs to a lead developer. Okay, what is the time of doing that job by one person? and what is the time of doing the same, like distributing those jobs and executing that, like what is, how much will be the time. Let's say if the same job can be done by one person, let's say the lead developer by 6 days. Okay, but if lead developer distributed that job as a task to different developers, like who are under that lead developer, so you are going to distribute that job across your all the developers at the end. So those people at the end, you can just combine their works and present it to someone. Okay, so then the completion of the job will takes nearly 1 to 2 days. The reason because all the tasks are distributed to 6 peoples. Okay, the five, like let's say 5 peoples. So all the 5 tasks are running on parallelly. Okay, then what happened? It will reduce the execution time. So in the same way here, let's say you have an 100, like 1 million rows of data. So to process that 1 millions of data for one driver node, it will take good amount of time. Means let's say 10 minutes. So if you want to distribute that processing a task to across all the um, all the workers node. So then what happened? It is going to distribute the data. Let's say 10 millions. You have in a 5 workers node. So it is going to distribute within a 5 workers node. So all the jobs can be done through parallel processing. Then at the end, driver node is going to combine all the tasks and find the results. So this is how it works in Spark. So always it is going to distribute the job across the workers node, and driver node is going to recombine all the tasks and producing the output. So that's why here you cannot here like almost all the functions and methods returns the generator kind of things. So you will not be able to see the data unless and until you are going to call that. Let's say in pandas, you are going to say that, yeah, df print without giving any methods. You can print it. But in pandas, if you provide a df, it is just going to generate in a memory bytes. It will not show any data frame. So to see the data frame, you need to specify the methods to see this. Let's say df.show. If you call that method, then workers node completes its job and it's providing the results to driver node, and driver node combining all the results and provide it to you to see the data. This is how it works. So that's why PySpark always faster than Python in data processing. Is this clear? Any questions so far? Okay. Then, so here you guys can see I just already created the notebooks and I already added some comments as well. Like, okay. Very firstly, so whoever using this Spark coding on local, so those people only can uncomment these 2 lines and execute this plug. I'll tell you what it is. Very firstly, if you are working in local, you need to create a Spark instance. Okay, so in local, you will not find the Spark easily. So for that, anyhow, you are install all the installers. If you are already installed all the installers and the Hadoop, all these things, so then you need to find the Spark from your local. Once you to find the Spark, what we need to do? You need to import find Spark library. So then find Spark library, you need to initiate it. Once it is once you find the Spark in your local system. So once this is done, so that's why I added a comment. PC users can use the next 2 lines of code, but Mac user don't need it. Okay. And in Spark also Databricks. Okay, so that's why I'm going to comment these two lines. Then let's say, yeah. So you can just import this PySpark. So you no need to do pip install PySpark or something. Once you are installed in your local, that's enough. So once it is done, so from the PySpark.sql import Spark session. This is the main entry point for your Spark. Okay, Spark session handle all your SQL kind of queries and graphs or ML algorithms or data frames. Okay, so Spark sessions earlier we have a Spark context, so that will only supports for SQL, but nowadays we have Spark session that supports all these 4 jobs. Okay, so for that you can create a Spark, and that, like, this is all for if you guys are using in local. Okay, if you are using in Databricks, you no need to create this block at all. Okay, so that's just I'm explaining if you want to try this on your local environment. Okay, then Spark session, so you need to create a Spark instance. So call this Spark session dot builder dot app name, any name you can give. Let's say for this instance, so this instance is registered with that name. Okay, and dot get or create. If you have already have this Spark instance, it is going to taking that. If you are not having that instance, it is going to creating in a new instance of Spark. Okay, so if it is once it is created, if you want to know the hardware configuration, how in the hardware configuration in the backend, so you can just use these comments. Like if you want to see the memory details and core details, all these things, you are working with only one course, but in your driver you can have more cores. Okay, like how much cores you are going to use, that much of performance you will get. If you are using all the cores in your local system, you may get a good performance. But if in the same time, if you are running any other jobs, that might going to break or that might going to delay, because all the cores will be allocated to here, but we need some cores also for other workers, right? In that case, you may find issue. Okay, unless and until you have a necessary, and if you have any needs, don't use all the cores. It's not only in the Spark. If you go any software development, so don't use all the cores unless and until you have the if you have any needs or something. Okay, cool. So I'm just running on the Databricks. So I'm not going to execute this block because Spark is pre-installed in Databricks. You can directly call Spark in Databricks. Okay, cool. So reading the data frame, how we can read it. So a read equivalent to relational database in Spark SQL and can be created using various functions in Spark session. Okay, so the Spark is, you don't need to play with any of the text files or something. Okay, like how you have played with a pandas. So here it's only work with a relational database kind of thing. Let's say if the data is a tabular format, so then only you can call this Spark data frames. So ultimately, if you have big data, then only you can use Spark data frames. If you are playing with some small set of data frames, I'm not going to recommend you guys to use PySpark. Another reason is, so PySpark always takes an average time for any sort of data. If it is a, let's say pandas takes a time for 10 like let's say 1 million data is 15 minutes. Okay, for small data set it is going to take one minute, but in Spark what happened, for 1 million data set it is going to take 7 minutes, and like 100 rows or 1,000 rows also taking a 7 to 6 minutes. So for small data sets, the PySpark is not best option. Okay, this is only for big data. not for small data. Okay, so if your data is very small, you can just still go with pandas. But if your data is very big, then you can use Spark data frames. Okay, that's another thoughts, another suggestions. Okay, cool. Then if you are reading on the local, maybe in datasets folder, which like I shared on zip file, there you can find datasets folder. There you may find student.csv. Okay, so if you are saving these datasets in somewhere else, please provide the exact path. But if you guys are using in Spark data in Databricks, then what do you need to do? If you are working in Databricks, you need to upload your data frame to this Databricks, then you can use that path. Okay, so for that, what do you need to do? So here maybe can go here. I think we should add, yeah, go here, the catalog you can find. So earlier the name was changed like DBFS something, but now it is changed. Okay, go here and create a table. Okay, so just go with don't go with any S3 or other data sources because those were paid one. So just select it. Come on. Yeah, or you can just click on here and on documents, and I should have those. Yeah, instead of notebook, I should have students.csv something. Yeah, here you can just open it. Once this is done, you can just open this uh, open this data with some notebook. If you open like this, okay, so this is also giving a PySpark code for you to read the data. Okay, so here you can see like how you can read the data. It's always almost giving the data like file location. This is the file location, it is provided. File type is CSV, info schema, and all the options which it is provided, and how to read the data frame. It's also giving some small example like how you can read it. Once you upload the data, you can just go with that. Okay, but you have another way. Just give me a second, I will find it now. I just stopped sharing my screen just for a few minutes. I load the data. Actually, I'm just searching for that. Hmm, come on. So do you guys have any questions so far? Like how to deal with these kinds of things? Sorry for that inconvenience because it's not creating that actually. Yeah, again, I'm sharing the screen. So can you guys can see my screen again?
Yes, Vikrant.
Yeah. So here you can see, yeah. So here we have a workspace. So there you can see all the notebooks which you guys have created. So and also if you want to upload the data, because you can go here and or you can just in the workspace, or you can the new, you can create a table. So directly you can go there and don't select any of this S3 or something. Okay. And it's provide a simple place to put data, select your path, DBFS or something. What is this? Showing simply blank. Okay, so just click on here and you can go and select the data frame which you want to read. So here you can see. So create a table with UI. Let's say if you want to see this data frame, like if you want to see the data, how it looks, you can click on this create table with UI, then select the cluster which you are selected and click on the view table. So by this way, you can see the table. See, by this way, you can see this table which I wanted to see, and you can select, because this is a comma separated data, right? Like CSV. So default file type is CSV. Yeah. So if you click on that first row is header. So first row, it is taking it as a column names instead of C1, C2, C3, C0. It's going to taking that. So, and if you want to click on that info schema, yeah. So, and then you can create a table. So this all you can also do it by coding as well. But if you want to see in manually, you can do it. So this is the, so here you can see um, default.students to CSV. This file is created in your local, like after all the editing. So you can also see the schema. So you can see these are the columns, this is the data type, and the comment is null or something. Okay, there is no comment. Data type is this, and this is the column, the sample data, how it looks. Okay, so you can start using this data set, or you can use the original data frame as well. Okay, so now once this is done, I'm just going to the notebook. So I'm going to skip this execution of this Spark creation because Spark is already created in my local. So here, how to read the data frame. You can call this Spark. If you're working on local, this is already created, and you can call this Spark instead of calling pd dot something. So Spark dot, you don't need this path because we are running with Databricks with the different paths. Okay, Spark dot read dot format, which formats of data you guys are going to read. Okay, that is CSV dot option. So in that option you can say that header is equals to true. So if you need any header, so in that case it is going to consider first row as header. Okay, so I'm going to give option header as true because my first row is my columns of the data frame. Dot load, we need to load the data from some like storage. right? So there I saved my data. There I saved my data. So I'm going to execute this line of code. See, Spark job is done. Here you cannot see the data. You can simply see the schema of the data. The reason because it is distributed this job, reading job to across all the workers node. Okay. If you want to see the results, you need to call it properly. Unless and until you are going to call, you can't see the data. So in the same way, how we can see, how we can how we did it in pandas, like pd dot read csv. Just we are giving a path in pandas, like in Python, let's say. This is the difference between like pandas and PySpark reading data frames. If you are using different type of format, you can just change the format. Okay, if you are using csv or .parquet or avro or xlsx something, so you can just change the format and read the data frame. So this is one way of reading it. Another way of reading it, like through, like you can see, spark dot read underscore csv. In pandas it is pd dot read underscore csv. In spark it is spark dot read dot csv. You can provide the path. Okay, info schema is true, and it means you need to like dynamic allocation of the schema, like data type and all these things. That is true, and header is equals to true. So first column, so first row of the data frame should be the columns of the data frame. So I'm just make it as a true. So in this way also you can read the data frames. Okay, and saving it to any of the keyword, any of the variable name, df1 or students or something, anything will be fine. So this is df1. I executed it. Like how we can see the data, we can call this df1.show. So here you can see this is come up within a table format. This doesn't looks good. So instead of, this is also one of the methods to view the data. Like if it is small, if it is less column, this is fine. But if it is big, then you need some graphics, right? So df dot display, you can use display function to see the data frame. See, now it looks good. Okay, yeah, it looks good. See, those are the columns, and so there also you can do filtering and all these things. That's how the Databricks works. Okay, so Databricks is also like another software which you must know in data engineering field or like data science field as well. So if you want to explore more on that, you can start exploring that as well. So here you can see the columns, all the columns, and I'll show one more thing maybe. Yeah. So here we have in the 3 dots. So he can click on copy column name and filtering it or pin this column. Like if you pin this column, it comes at the first position. And if you want to filter the data frame with any values, you can just contains or is in. So instead of doing the coding, you can also do it by filtering only. So that's what the beauty of this display function. This is how Spark works. So here you can always see it's Python. Why? Because this is Python coding only. Just we are doing it on Spark environment. That's it. So if you want to enlarge this data frame, you can do that as well, and you can expand it. Okay, see, it's the beauty of the Databricks. Okay, I'm just coming out from the focus. So the same thing, like whatever you did, like filtering and aggregation and some basic mathematics extraction, some basic statistics extraction, that we can do it in PySpark. Like if it is a Spark data frame, so you cannot use a traditional pandas methods to get to extract the results. So you can only use Spark set of methods, because the tasks are with workers node. So we have a specific set of methods to call all the jobs together and combine for the combined result. So in that case, you need to use the specific methods only. But in pandas, there is no distributions of the task. Only driver node can capable to only driver node is executing that. Okay, so let's say we have other methods as well. Like if you want to check, so this here you can see the traditional Python built-in functions only I'm using to check it. Type of the students, like here it is df1. So I'm just going to executing this. So here you guys can see this is a PySpark data frame. It's not a pandas data frame. So if you want to see it, you can see. Okay, so I'm not reading this way. Okay, so if you want to limit, so we have a limit function to, let's say, if you want to print only top 5, so then you can use it. Like in Python, it is going to be head of 5. So we are going to use head function. Here we are going to use show function. Okay, come on. This is done. Once you read the data frame, if you don't have any option, okay, in Spark, like to do some certain transformation, then what you can do, the last option, you can still convert the data frame into a Spark data frame and see it. So we have a two pandas function. So if you use the two pandas function, this data frame get converted into pandas. So here you can see I'm using Python pandas functions. See the data frame looks like pandas data frame. So if you converted this into a two pandas, gets the entire data frame gets converted into pandas data frames. Okay, so that also possible. You can do in that way as well. Okay, and then if you want to check the schema, you can use print schema function. You can see here, it's a root. You can see this is a data frame. So these are the columns, gender, race. These are the columns, and these are the data types of the data frame. And if it is nullable or true, means is this column is accepting any null values or not. If it is true, it is accepting. It means it is accepting. If you want to change this as a gender, like should not accept any null values, in that case, you can manually change this into a false. Then what happened? If this data frame, like maybe if this data frame is updated with any null values, then pipeline is going to break. It means saying that they should not be null values. They should not contain null values. It should contain only any of the values like that. Okay, this is what the three arguments in the data type: the column name, data type, nullable. Okay, cool. Then how we can change the data type, that all will be going to see in few minutes. So that is the one thing. So Parquet, like instead of going within a Parquet, we'll do some operations in already read data frame. Okay, if you want to create any new data frame or something, let's say, so in that case you cannot simply give the column name like this and is equals to or any values, like you cannot overwrite with any of the columns. So here what you need to do, so for that only we have one more method, that is df1 dot with column. So we have here, you can see, if you want to create a new column, you can use with column. If you want to rename the column, you can use with column renamed. Okay, so let's say first we'll go with first we will go with column renamed. So here you can see, so argument existing, first argument will be existing column, second argument will be new column. So here you can just provide the column. I want to change gender column with 6. Okay, this is fine. Then I'm going to press the show button. I want to see it. I want to see the results as well, whether it works or not. Or I can simply go with columns argument to see the columns. See, the gender column gets renamed with the new name. Okay, here is the columns and these columns are the change. So here also you can see that with the columns argument, like in pandas also you may use the same. In Spark also you may use the same. Columns will give the list of all the columns. Okay, this is how you can rename the columns of your data frames. Then if you want to create any data frames, any column, then you can use with column. And you can see the argument column name, that is a string name, the new column name which you need to provide, and column object which you need to provide, like on which column, like what are the values you need to fill up within a new fill up for new columns. Let's say if you want to create in a column A, so how you are going to write, like what are the values should be in column A. So here you can see I'm just going to overwrite. Let's say I want to race or ethnicity something. Okay, I wanted to create a race column. The value should be the value of this column. Okay, like group B, group A, something it is. Like how we can add it. So call the column object. How we can call the column object. So for that, you need to import the library, like import PySpark dot SQL dot functions as F. I'm just going to importing that functions. Okay, so from the function you can get all the necessary functions. So column object we have. Okay, I'm going to provide the column name here. I'm just going to convert this into a column object to override the entire column. So let's see. I'm just going to executing display. So we should have a race column at the end, maybe. Let's see. Yeah, here you can see the race column. We created a new column with the new values, like overrated values. Okay, this is the another way. Like if you want to change it, if you want to change the data type of that, how we can do it? So you can go df1 dot with column. Okay, so I want to change the math score. Okay, I want to go with math score. This right now, this is an integer, right? Right now, this is an integer. I want to change this data type into integer type. How we can change it? So for that, what you need to do, you can overwrite the same column with the different data type. That's it. I'm just overwriting the existing column. I'm not going to create any new column. So here, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use that dot same column object. This column object dot, we have cast function. So casting it, what is the data type you need to provide? Okay, so again, you need to import the data type of the columns. How we can import? Again, import PySpark dot SQL dot types as T. I'm just imported this types, all the types as T, just to import all the types like string type, integer type, boolean type, array of string, or everything. Okay, so I'm just going to call T dot. I want to convert this into an integer type. That's it. So, and again, I'm going to print the schema to check it. what it is showing. What is the error? Class data type. Okay, it's a function. Okay. Yes. Math score. Where is math score? Where are you? Yeah, here. See, it gets converted into integer. Earlier, so maybe I'll show it here. Math score earlier it was string. Now it is become integer. Okay, this is how you can cast. You can change the data type by using with column. We don't have any separate methods or separate function for data types or something else like we have in pandas. So by using these existing methods and by using this existing PySpark functions and PySpark types only, you need to play with those values. Then another scenario is if you want to create a variable with some static values, let's say, or you can say nationality. Okay, nationality. So you know that the data is from the peoples who are foreign living Indian, like the nationality should be Indian. So how we can create a column that should contain only the string of Indian? So only thing you need to do, you can again call up this df1 dot with column and then create a column like nationality and then call f dot, instead of using a call you can call a let, so it is going to fill the whatever the static values which you are going to provide to this data frame. So I'm going to call indian Indian. Okay, then again I'm going to play, I'm going to see the this date like the transformed data. Yes, this is done. So here you can see nationality Indian. This is how you can create a column with any existing static values and how we can change the data type, how we can change what you can see, um, how we can create a new column with the existing column values. So these three cases you guys have seen. Okay, the another case is like how we can say that, yeah, so I want to create a data frame based on the condition, like right, create a column that having some values like female, add some values, if it is male add another values, if something else do something. Okay, let's say if it is female, just encode within a 0, if it is male encode within a 1. How we can do that? By using with column. So now we have for that one we have a conditions here. Let's say df1 dot with column. I'm going to create gender. Okay, so here I'm going to provide the conditions for that as a column. So create a column when uh, f dot call of gender, this column is equals to male. If it is male, then write 1. Okay, dot, otherwise write a 0. This is the condition which I provided. Let me execute. Let's see whether it works or not. It should, yeah. Let's see on display. I just overwrite it with the existing column only, means I just converted male and female to 0 and 1. So display. Yeah, it works. See, 0 1 0 1. So this is how you can map the existing column, that existing values. Okay, this is how you can play with only one functions. Like this is what mapping the columns or transforming the existing column or overwriting the columns or changing the data type with using with column argument. So these are the most important functions which you should know and which you should practice if you want to be in big data industries. Okay, is that clear? Okay, cool. Then I'm going to take a pause for today. So let's continue on tomorrow with new transformations. Okay, so these things are very interesting, guys. Like you may easily practice it and play around with the different use cases, like how I find it nearly 4 or 5 use cases with one small function. In the same way, you can also play with in a different scenarios. Okay. Cool. Then we'll meet. We'll rejoin tomorrow at the same times. Until that time, have a great day. Take care. Bye bye.